Want to know how to get yourself killed in Southeast Asia? Just do exactly what this American tourist just did over in Bangkok. And there's a very good chance by this time tomorrow, you'll be a day-old ghost. That's what we're going to discuss on this short travel safety video. Is Thailand safe? Absolutely, it's safe, unless you do this. American tourist beaten, stabbed to death in Bangkok after begging Thai girlfriend to take him back in love triangle horror. Now that's the New York Post headline, but I found a more detailed article. I think this is on the Thai Examiner. Folks, this is open source initial reporting. So, you get down to what's true and what's not. But there's a lesson in this. There's several lessons in it. And so if we get some of the facts that come out, it's irrelevant, because at the end of this, there's a learning point of just what not to do, especially outside of your home country. Okay, so here we go. American dies in Bangkok suburb in violent brawl with 3 armed Burmese men in row over woman. Okay, so the gentlemen who are involved are from Burma, Myanmar, Thailand, Burma. And so it wasn't from local folks. So you got an American tourist, a foreigner, and the 4 young gentlemen from Myanmar who are also foreigners. All right. American tourist Cole Stein Heath, 55 years old, so he's a couple years older than me, butchered in Bangkok street clash over ex-lover. 4 Myanmar men surrender after a scrapyard showdown. The victim was found with 5 stab wounds and shattered legs as police seized knives and a metal pipe in a love feud killing. So that sort of sets the stage. All right, that's the synopsis. I'll just read the article because it's just got a lot of fine points in it. A 55-year-old American was killed in Bangkok's southwestern Chamthong district on Monday. He suffered multiple stab wounds and 2 broken legs. The fight was between the American and 4 Burmese men. He was identified as Cole Stein Heath of California, and he looks like a California guy. Reports say his girlfriend, a Burmese woman, had taken refuge with the men. Mr. Heath went there to retrieve her, but was met with armed resistance. Police arrested 3 men at the scene. One of them is reportedly the woman's brother. They claimed Heath attacked first with a knife. One of the men was also wounded in the violent 4-on-1 brawl. Now, I'll put some pictures on the screen. There's actually some graphic photos. I'm not going to put those on there. But I'll put the pictures on the screen where you can see, just pictures of who everybody's involved. So here we go. They found his body about 5 p.m. on Monday. He was laying on the pavement outside a scrapyard and secondhand shop near Soi Suksawat 26. When police arrived, the 4 suspects were waiting at the roadside. That's a key fact right there. They're just waiting for the police to arrive. They were armed with a long knife and 3-foot metal pipe, and nearby officers recovered a 10-inch kitchen knife, and Heath's body was found in a pool of blood. The autopsy revealed 5 stab wounds and broken legs. Let's see. Police said he had been overpowered during the violent brawl. They seized the weapons as evidence, and they examined the scene. The dispute centered on a Myanmar or Burmese woman. She was the younger sister of one of the suspects, and previously she had been in a relationship with the American tourist. So it's your younger sister in a relationship with a dude. He shows up. Obviously, you're going to defend your little sister, okay? She had ended the relationship and moved in with her brother and his associates. Investigators said Heath was unhappy about the separation. He had repeatedly tried to resume the relationship. Furthermore, he had argued with the suspects on earlier occasions. As tensions escalated, confrontations became more frequent. So this wasn't old Heath's first rodeo. He had been going down this slippery slope on multiple occasions. On Monday morning, Heath returned to the workplace of the four men. The site operated as a scrapyard and secondhand shop. He showed up carrying a 10-inch kitchen knife and confronted the group at the shop. The suspects told the investigators that the American produced the knife during the dispute, and as a result, they armed themselves. One seized a knife, another grabbed an iron pipe. A fight then broke out in front of the shop. So let's just sort of quarterback this here. If somebody shows up at your house with intentions that are not exactly pleasant, and oh, by the way, they're armed with a 10-inch kitchen knife, which could end your life, I find it reasonable that the young gentlemen armed themselves. I got no problem with it. They're at their place of work, minding their own business. Here comes a dude wanting to do battle with a knife. So far, we're just getting into it, but it sounds like the American tourist, there's nowhere so far that he's in the right. I think we could probably agree on that. All right, during the struggle, Heath was overpowered. Now, I don't know exactly everybody's height and weight, but if you look at the pictures, we Americans are typically a lot bigger than folks from Thailand or Myanmar or Cambodia or Southeast Asia. But it's 4 versus 1. Those aren't favorable odds for Heath. 4 versus 1, even though they're smaller individuals. During the struggle, he got overpowered. Sustained 5 stab wounds, both legs broken. He collapsed outside the shop on the pavement. One of the suspects suffered a knife wound in the fracas. So not sure where he got stabbed, but it looks like old Heath stabbed one of them. He was rushed to the hospital for treatment, but police have not disclosed details of his condition. So we don't know how bad that guy is. Maybe it was a scratch. Maybe he's struggling for survival. I don't know. Just going off this article. Let's see. So one of them is the brother of the girlfriend. The other one is the new boyfriend of the girlfriend. After the attack, they all remained at the scene. They surrendered without fleeing, and police took them into custody for questioning. They charged all 4 men with jointly assaulting another person, causing death. And the charge was announced after they conducted initial interviews. But the inquiry was continuing, and the incident stemmed from a personal relationship dispute. The police colonel said that the American had been unable to accept the breakup. Moreover, he had allegedly continued following his former girlfriend after the separation. So we're starting to paint a picture of sort of a stalker here. All right, the dude looks to me like he's a stalker. But wait, the information on the gentleman gets worse. The picture that they're painting, which obviously he's not around to defend himself, but the picture that's being painted is that he was not an upstanding citizen in the community. On the day of the incident, the American was said to have produced a knife. That act officers said, provoked the suspects. They intervened and attacked him. The suspects claimed they had no intention to kill him. However, they said the situation became chaotic and they lost control, which pretty much happens in every fight that you get into. When you're watching a boxing match or a UFC fight where you have a referee and there are rules, yes, those individuals are skilled at their sport. But when you're fighting on the street and or a fight for survival where there's no rules, no referee, there's no holes barred, yeah, it gets chaotic. It gets primal. The shop owner, identified as Mr. Fenawat, said he witnessed the confrontation. So it's their boss. He said he warned his employees not to attack Heath, who is standing there with a knife. Nevertheless, one of them charged at Heath with the metal pipe. Despite his warnings, the men lost their composure. As a result, Heath was killed during the roadside clash. So, again, you got an American standing there, been stalking the girl, so the tensions are obviously ratcheted up. They're obviously tired of this fool. He won't leave the girl alone. There's obviously more than what the shop holder or the shop owner, whether he knew about all this, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he didn't have those emotions running wild that, hey, we're tired of dealing with this idiot. He just leave the girl alone, and oh, by the way, he shows up with a knife. It's natural that emotions are going to take over. You showed up, you want to fuck around, now you're going to find out. Now look, I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but it sounds like the shop owner's like, just leave him alone. Maybe we call the police. I don't know exactly what he said. But you have to look at it from everybody's perspective. And so whoever it was that first charged him with the metal pipe, he's not attacking an unarmed, innocent individual. He's attacking an armed fucking stalker. This is how I would present the defense. Neighbors described ongoing tension before the fatal encounter. Heath had lived alone for several months in an apartment across from the shop. Previously, the Myanmar woman had lived in the same building. However, she moved out after the couple separated. Residents reported frequent arguments before the split, so they didn't have a wonderful relationship. They're fighting and arguing. Finally, she leaves this dude, and he just won't take no for an answer, is what it sounds like. They said furious screams were heard during repeated rows. So you could probably deduce from that there was some knockdown, drag-outs inside that apartment. The dude's, fisticuffs with the girl. I haven't seen a picture of the girl, but I'm sure that she's a lot smaller than the American. After the breakup, some neighbors alleged that Heath harassed the woman. Stalking. Let's see. The officers secured the scene, documented the evidence, doing their job, gathered the statements, and sent the body for an autopsy and notified the United States Embassy regarding the death of an American national. 4 suspects remain in custody as legal proceedings move forward. So that's the article right there. So where do we begin? I asked the question about how to get yourself killed in Southeast Asia as a tourist. Well, there you go. There's your answer. Do exactly what this gentleman did. There's a good chance it's not going to end well for you. Now, what I've said so many times, okay, when an incident like this happens, it makes international news. Okay, I pulled this off in the New York Post, right? Where if a local and a local get into a fight or kill each other, that doesn't make international news. It's just like how many people got killed in Chicago last weekend? 15, 20, 30. It doesn't make the news. But when an American tourist goes to another country and gets killed, it makes international news and it makes the country look bad, when in reality, a lot of the times it comes down to a domestic dispute or a bar fight, a fight over a woman. I did a video last year, whatever, that dude that got killed in Cebu by the Filipino rapper. A lot of these dudes talk themselves into these situations, and then it makes national news. So is Thailand safe to visit? Absolutely. It's a very safe country to visit. But if you go there and get into a relationship with the local girl and it turns sour, like any domestic situation in America, it's no different than being in America. How many people get killed every year because of domestic violence, love triangles, all that stuff in America? So it's no different than this situation, right? But we paint a picture of this guy, and you take a look at his picture. And I just showed the picture to Fatima. I said, do you think this guy looks his appearance? Now, he might be the nicest guy in the world. Might have been the nicest guy in the world. But his appearance, he looks like a fucking thug. Absolute just fucking thug. That's what he appears to be to me. Now, I'm a father. I have a daughter. And in a few years, I'm going to probably have dudes, kuyas, whatever, knocking on the door. Hey, I'm here to pick up your daughter to go on a date. It's coming. All right? I want her to meet somebody that's going to treat her right, obviously. But I'm going to tell you right now, if there's a knock at the door and this dude right here is standing there, my first impression of him is obviously not going to be good. Why? Based on experience dealing with people who look like this. Now, again, he might be the nicest guy in the world, but according to what I've read in the witness testimony, if it's true, he's not a nice guy. He's a fucking alcoholic loner who beats on his old lady. Maybe there's some drug use involved, maybe there's not. But I can tell you right now, if this asshole shows up at my door, I'm here to date your daughter, nope, get the fuck out of here. Or it's not going to end well for you. That's my impression as a father. So everybody that this guy comes in contact with, dressed like a fucking thug. There's another picture of him on the beach somewhere. There you go, right there. Even on the beach. He just comes across as a fucking thug. The type of guy that's going to fight you. Now, if he is the nicest guy in the world, you can soften your appearance by what you wear. So if I've got all these tats and I look like a rough character, but I'm not in my home country, maybe I want to soften up my damn image where the locals aren't so afraid of me. Okay, so what could this fool do here? I don't know, put on a fucking golf shirt and tuck your shirt in. Now you got a golf shirt and some shorts and a belt. Softens up his entire fucking image. Just like that. Real simple. Okay? Your attire can soften your image. Even if you've got tats, a bald head, whatever you've got, right? Trying to get the Mr. Clean, I'm a fucking tough guy look going on. And looking at his dead ass on the pavement, looks like he just freshly shaved his head. He shaved his head that morning. Oh, I'm going to go woo this girl to coming back to me. And it didn't work out. So appearances, especially when you're outside your home country, can affect how people are going to treat you. It's not rocket science. They were scared of this guy. I'm going to tell you right now. The minute she started dating this guy, everybody was afraid of him based on his appearance and his size. They're just scared to death of this guy. Now, fucking getting drunk all the time, the screaming, the screams coming out of the apartment. They're deathly afraid of this guy now. He's beating on the girl. They don't know what to do. All they know is they don't want to be around this fucking crazy drunk American. They don't. But it started with his appearance. If he were the nicest guy, he could have softened his appearance until people got to know him. Now they're not afraid of him. He's a nice guy. And then you go to dressing like a fucking bum around the house. See how that works? But his appearance, based on the testimony and the picture that they have painted, they fit together perfectly. You look at him, he's a fucking thug. Now his actions. There's one thing of having the appearance of a thug that don't get you killed. It still means your neighbors are sort of scared of you around here. They are. But his actions, not just one thing, a chain of events that he just kept digging and digging and digging and pushing and pushing and pushing to the point that he goes full Billy Badass, shows up at her brother and her boyfriend's place of employment, their place of business. They're at work. They're at work minding their own fucking business. The girl is there with them probably because she's scared to death to stay alone because of the stalker. So these dudes are there trying to run a scrapyard, working for minimum wage in grueling conditions, and here this fucking thug shows up with a knife, running his mouth, wants to fight. Okay. The one dude with the metal pole said, "I'm your Huckleberry. Let's go." What would you do? Decision forcing case time, DFC. Put yourself in these guys' shoes. Now, I'm 5'4" on a good day, and them dudes look shorter than me. I don't know, but they probably about 5 foot, 5'2". American guys, what, 5'10", somewhere in there? He's got the height, the weight, the muscle advantage over these guys, no doubt. Put yourself in their shoes. If you're at your work, your sister's been having problems with a crazy drunk boyfriend beating on her. Hey, just come stay up here at the warehouse with us. You're there, her new boyfriend works with you, everything's going well, and all of a sudden, here comes fucking Billy Badass outside, armed with a knife. What would you do? Well, obviously you're going to try to call 911, but you're just going to stand there and wait for him to slice you up, or are you going to arm yourself? Now, a knife, to me, is more dangerous than a gun, because you don't have to reload a knife. You don't got to reload it. There's no malfunctions. It don't get jammed. It'll just keep fucking killing and killing and killing until the person operating the knife gets fucking tired. So I'm pretty sure anybody, especially my viewers, we a lot of us have, not everybody, but a lot of us think very similarly. We're going to arm ourselves, and we're going to defend that girl at all costs. That's what we're going to do. That armed Billy Badass is not getting anywhere near my sister or my girlfriend. Prepare to defend yourself. Prepare for battle. So I just look at it from, you take everything and just boil down to simplicity. This dude was in the wrong. They defended themselves. He died. That's that. When you add up all the witness testimony and the history, it makes them even worse. It makes it even easier to prove we were just defending ourselves. This guy's been stalking the girl for fucking months, making threats. He shows up. Does he have the ability, opportunity, and jeopardy to hurt somebody? Did we fear for our lives? Obviously. Wouldn't you? Nutcase like this shows up armed with a big ass butcher knife. It's going to change some gears in my head. He's not getting next to my sister or my lady. It's going to get primal. So that's the story right there. My heart goes out to this gentleman's family back in the States. But just listening to it, there's a lot of guys like this that gravitate, that come over here to the Philippines, to Southeast Asia. They're struggling with some type of addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, fucking pills. They've already got some mental issues. Trust me, there's plenty of them over in this region, but there's plenty in Central America and places like that where they just end up. And so this dude didn't come over to Southeast Asia and go crazy, or he's just in love with the girl. He had problems in America, if I had to guess. Just like most of them do. I don't know what else to say. But you want to know how to get yourself killed in Southeast Asia, it's pretty much the same way you can get yourself killed in America. You know, break up with your wife, you get a restraining order, then you show up at her house and her dad's there or her brother's there. It's not going to end well for you. And that's all this is. This is just a domestic dispute, but it's amplified by the fact that it's an American tourist, makes national news, and it just reflects badly because of the press. It reflects badly on the country because of the press, but it doesn't have anything to do with Thailand. Nothing. Is Thailand safe? Absolutely. It's inherently safe. And that's the other thing I'm going to talk about. Weapons. A lot of you have asked me throughout the years, you know, can you own a gun in Southeast Asia or in the Philippines, Thailand, wherever? Can you carry a knife? So let me just put this out there. When you leave your home country, trying to arm yourself in any form or fashion is just going to end up causing you problems. So even if you move to a country, and I was just recently discussing this with my buddy, even if you move to a country where as a foreigner you can jump through some hoops and own a gun, I don't recommend that you do so. It's only going to cause problems, whether there's an incident or not. So no, I don't recommend that you try to arm yourself with anything, especially here in Southeast Asia, and you don't need to. I've been here a long time. I've never felt the need to arm myself like I feel in the United States of America. In the U.S., I will not go anywhere or be sitting in my house without a Glock 22 strapped to my side. I refuse to be a victim. But living here in Southeast Asia, I've never felt the need to be armed. I've never felt the need to carry a knife unless I'm, you know, camping and using it to chop up wood or to chop up carrots. Yeah, I arm myself in my kitchen because I'm chopping up carrots with my survival knife, but I use that for camping. I don't carry it when I go to the SM. That's craziness. So no, you don't need to arm yourself if you come here to live in Southeast Asia. It's just not smart, nor do you need to arm yourself. So that's my advice to you. If this guy had showed up and it was just him, maybe it would just been a fist fight. But when he showed up armed, according to what they're saying, that ratcheted things up and he lost his life over it. Nothing good comes out of you trying to arm yourself. So don't even think about it. Don't arm yourself with anything. That's my advice. If over here in the PI, and I'm going to quote a line from a movie, but I want you to think about this. If it comes to the point where I need a gun, there's going to be plenty of them laying around on the ground. Okay? Think about that. If it comes to the point in Southeast Asia that I need to arm myself, there'll be plenty of fucking M16s laying around on the ground. There you go. If you're a gun person and you really love your guns, just stay in America. You love to go hunting and go to the range and all that stuff, just stay in America. Pretty simple. Now with that said, if you want to go shoot guns and just go to the range, there's plenty of ranges around Southeast Asia. You just go there and shoot their gun, hand it back to them, they clean it. You ain't even got to clean the damn thing. So if you really, really, really want to shoot guns, it's available. Just go pay some money, have a great time. You don't need to own it or take it home with you. There we go. So in closing, what are the lessons learned? If you break up with a local girl and she says it's over and I don't want to see you, that's it. Don't stalk the girl. Don't go over there and try to talk sense into her, especially if she's with her family. Now look, me and my old lady, her family's down in the village. I've been to the village pretty much every other day, every third day for 2 years. I've been with this old lady for 8 years. I know her family. I've been around her family for coming up on a decade. I consider them part of my family. Do they consider me part of their family? Sort of. But I'll tell you, the second that you will be persona non grata, and the second that I would be persona non grata in that village is the second that me and her part ways, or the second that she gets pissed off at me and leaves. If we get sideways, I will never set foot in that village again, because it's not smart. It's a different mentality, because not only you're not just her husband or her boyfriend, you're a foreigner, you're a Kano. Their loyalty to you, and their compassion for you, if they have any, all that shit ends the minute she ends the relationship with you, with me. And once that is over, it's just not safe for you to go back to her hometown or her village. That's my opinion. And why would you want to? Well, I built a big old house. That makes it even worse, because if you die, everybody can move in your big house. Another case of why you rent. Nobody ever plans on getting a divorce when they get married or they move over here. They're going to live happily ever after with their local girl, build a big old house and live happily ever after. But what happens if you do get sideways, or she has a boyfriend and you break up? Now you got this big ass house down in her village surrounded by people, her family, who are not your friends. They are not loyal to you, not one bit. Once you and the girl part ways, it don't matter how long you've known them. Their loyalty is to their family, that village, not you, the foreign guy. And oh, by the way, if you die, everybody gets to move into the big house. Now there's motive. I don't have all the answers, but it's my advice to you that if you and your wife break up, get divorced, have a nasty breakup, you move on. Even if you have to walk away from that house and be like, you know what, whatever, here's your keys, just Give me 3 steps. Give me 3 steps, mister. Give me 3 steps towards the fucking bus station. And I'll be out of here. And I'll live another 10, 20 years with my new girlfriend in a new location. If you rent, you still got your money in the bank. If you just spent $200K on her house, she and her family will enjoy that house, and they'll appreciate it. Not really, but they'll enjoy the house. So this is just me rambling. But if I can help one person realize the dangers, because it's different in America, right? Y'all split up, whatever. Maybe her family tries to talk some sense into her. You can go over there and talk to her mother and be like, look, I'm sorry. Can we try to work this out? Help us out and smooth this over. Her mom's going to let you come in unless you were beating on her. The dad's probably going to say, come on over here, son. Let's talk about it. And unless you're violent towards the girl, then I don't recommend you go to their house either. But here, it's like that Yellowstone episode where the Indian grandfather is telling the white guy, it's the white guy married to the Native American girl, and they have a child together. The grandfather says, take my granddaughter, and or they say, go home. And he's like, well, I am home on the reservation. But the grandfather says, we are not your people. And it hurt the character's feelings, because he's like, I've lived here. I've been nothing but good to everybody here. And he said, listen, we're not your people. And until they invent a cure for human nature, you need to get the hell off the res till all this mess blows over. Now, I probably screwed that up, but what hit home for me was when he said, we are not your people. In other words, it's the Native American folks versus the white man. You're the white man. Don't matter that you're married to my granddaughter. You're still the white man. We're not your people. If you keep that in your mind, that, okay, we're all family until the girl says, I'm done with the canoe, then it's, we're not your people. Does that make sense? And even if you are with the girl, I'm not their people. I'm not part of that village. I'm not Filipino. And this is going to cut some of y'all deep, but if there's a van, if we're all in a van, me and her entire village in a bus, we're going on a trip. The bus goes over into the fucking ocean. Who do you think is going to be the last person saved? Who's going to be the last person saved? If Fatima has the power to save everybody on the bus except for one, who's going down with the bus? Who's going to be at the bottom of Davy Jones' locker? It's going to be me, the canoe. That's reality. That might cut some of y'all deep, but I'm here to tell you, your wife's loyalty is to her family. Her family, her village, that's her people. Not to you, not to me as the foreigner. If the bus goes off the bridge and she can save everybody but one, medicine man say Kimosabe gonna die. As long as you realize that and understand that, then you can navigate it and not end up like this jackass. Does that make sense? I hope some of this talk at least invoke thought. I don't have the answers. Maybe if somebody talked to this fool and he had a friend, he'd still be with us. But it just sounds like he was had some issues going on in his head, drinking too much, just a thug. But there you go. I put it out there for your consideration. Leave your comments down below. You think I'm way off base, but my wife's different. She loves me. Maybe she does. But don't force her hand about the bus incident. And don't even ask her about it. Because what you'll do is force her to lie. You don't even joke. Oh, if it was me or your father, who would you say first? If she says you just made her lie. Tell a lie. So don't even ask her. Don't put her in a position where she has to lie to you. Because I'm telling you what the fucking answer is. She gonna save everybody in that village before she saves you. Ooh, that's gonna cut some of y'all deep. You're not gonna believe me. There's the way things should be, or that you perceive them to be. And then there's that cold, hard reality, the way things are. And a lot of you fine folks out there who came over 2 or 3 times, you met a girl online, you did the paperwork, you took her to the States, you're living happily ever after, or whatever your situation is. You married a Filipina, you married a Thai girl, you married a girl from Cambodia or Laos or Vietnam, and you think you know the culture because you live with a Thai girl or a Filipino. You do not. And I'm not casting stones, because I was married to a Thai girl. I thought I knew everything there was to know about Thailand. We were living in America. I knew nothing until I moved to Thailand. Went through a divorce, learned the cold hard truth about a lot of things, and come to realize what was my problem. My problem was I did not properly understand the culture. I thought I did. I knew one girl and what one girl was telling me. I didn't understand the culture until I moved to Thailand. Now I understand the culture. I did not understand Filipino culture initially. And now it's pretty clear to me. But when I was living in America with my Thai girl, I knew nothing about Thai culture. I just knew my old lady. I thought I was an expert, and I was very naive to think that. So if you've been living with your Filipino wife for 10 years, but you've only spent 3 weeks in the Philippines, you don't know their culture. So pay attention. There you go. Y'all hit that thumbs up or thumbs down. Helps out with them damn Google squirrels who control everything about this game. I don't care if you hit a thumb down, thumbs up. Just take some action. Leave a big old comment down below. And I certainly appreciate you. I'll see y'all in the next one, and peace out.